This is Profiler Milagros Kendall reporting in. Agent number 232543. I always forget my agent number. It's been a while since I've been an agent. This is case number 738. This is a entity that was found in the woods and some dice were involved. So I will now go over to my report logs to complete my profile summary of today's case.
Yeah, so when I first had like a hit that maybe something was wrong, I had been in the woods with my friends and we were just kind of seated around the campfire, kind of like telling stories and just maybe having a couple of drinks. I had this urge to kind of yak, so I went behind a couple of trees. And after I finished throwing up, that's when I saw it. There were a couple of these bone die right next to the tree, and I knew what they were once I saw them. You know, the Du-dobleahn, it's a prolific gambler. It loves to play with fate and chance. And when I saw those die, those big, like large cubes inscribed with like valoric symbols, I was like, crap, we're back in town again. So that's when I made a call to everyone to come and examine what had happened. And that's how the case started.
Okay. Well, okay. So, Agent Lee, the bone dice, can you describe those to me again? You said they were large, they had these valoric symbols.
Yeah, you know, like typical human die, they kind of fit in the palm of your hand and they're pretty small. The valoric die, they are large, almost like big marshmallow type things. They're made of bones. Typically, they like to use elephant bones if they can get them, but if not, they'll choose a smaller creature to create them out of. They are carved with valoric symbols all over it, and depending on what it rolls, it'll decide what action it's going to take. So whether you live, whether you die, whether it eats you or not, it's all chance. It loves to play with fate.
Okay. This is really interesting. So you have encountered this creature before, the Du-dobleahn, it sounds like.
Yeah. I saw them once when I was backpacking across Hong Kong. They're, if you've ever been in the gambling halls of Macau, you will see them kind of like perched outside the door. They're just so perplexed by the idea of people's gambling for money. Like it's crazy to them. So a lot of the times they like to prey on the people and they'll play games with their prey to see who's going to win, who's luckier or not. The Du-dobleahn are pretty good at blending in. They natively don't wear clothes, but they do when they're trying to blend in with humans and such. They tend to wear capes a lot of the time because they do have large wings that are pretty obvious. So they wear capes because it can float over their backs and they can have their wings covered by it. Black, typically. I mean, are they trying to be stylish? Who knows?
Okay. I'd like to know, Dorm Database, what other agents saw the Du-dobleahn and could give me some more physical descriptions of it? Dorm Database queries don't always work.
I've seen one before,
There.
not this particular time around because I was still locked up in the in my cell when it happened, when we were called into duty for it. But I know that they're fae in origin, which is pretty common when you have something that deals with probability or luck or chance and stuff like that. Like Agent Lee, I think, had said when we were talking about the case afterwards, there was a lot of fashion choices that are made that try to blend in. Unfortunately, they don't really follow human trends very well, so they still think things like capes or top hats or canes and other accoutrements are still pretty popular nowadays. You think that they would, for as often as they stalk humans, you think they would learn to, I don't know, toss on a leather jacket or a denim jacket or some cool hairstyle or something. But that's actually a pretty good way, I think, to find one if you're looking for it. Look for the people who are really, really outdated in their fashion, and not like some of us here are. I'm talking about like legitimate outdated fashion, like not someone who seems like they're LARPing or something like that. Just someone who just feels like they're not fitting in properly.
Yes. And I have a question. So it sounds like they blend in to human society, obviously with these sometimes dated fashion choices. But they also have wings. Are they humanoid enough that they can blend in with just a hat, or do they actually shapeshift in some way?
It's not a full-on shapeshift as much as it's a perception filter. They have learned ways to pose and ways to sort of, they're a creature that works in probability, right? So they kind of know the odds of when they're going to be seen dead on or not. So they have managed to find the best ways to position themselves and adapt to their surroundings so they don't immediately ping on human perception, human senses.
Okay. Thank you, Agent Baxter. Santana.
It's Barcus.
Barcus, sorry. Santana, you had something you wanted to tell me about this fae creature.
Yes. So, I write everything down, so I have it. Hold on. Okay.
Thank you for your notes. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I've seen this creature before, like on my stoop. Literally, he hangs out on the stoop. It's really annoying. Like, I thought that, it was just like that. There's this guy who's kind of, he has some, I would say he's an alcoholic. He has, he struggles. So there's one guy and he's usually out there and the whole neighborhood knows him. We're cool. And he's someone else is sitting in his place. And I see that he has got like this hat on that's like really just out of date, out of fashion. I'm like, what are you? This is not carnival. Like, what are you doing? So I see this person playing dice like by themselves. I'm like, that's kind of creepy. Like, what is that about? And I get a little bit closer, but something tells me to walk very slowly, because part of me with the top hat, the cane, I'm like, is this Papagere? We don't talk to him. We don't do that. And the other part of me was like, is this a Du-dobleahn? Because I'm not trying to lose any money today. No. So I got a little bit closer and I saw that it was a Du-dobleahn. And how I knew that is because it has these little nubs like right here, where its wings are when they come out, and sometimes they're fully like, what's the word I want to say? Like not protracted, fully like expanded. So sometimes fully expanded. And then when they fold them up, they go like right here and these little nubs on the shoulders. And I think that's why he likes old clothes, because those old school shoulder pads, they cover that up.
Mm-hmm. Question. I know that the Du-dobleahn used some type of like perception change or filter so that humans can't perceive these specifics about it. But I also know that you, Agent Santana, you are able to see things that other humans can't. So you were able to see these wing nubs when other people normally wouldn't, right?
My powers, there's, I keep them activated. I keep my crystals charged. So I can see things like that. I've always been able to see things like that. It's something that I'm working more on channeling. I don't know where it came from. I hear that it may be genetic. It may be part of my family legacy, but I don't. Anyway, basically, yes, I could see that. And later he went to go play with the men at the park because he also has dominoes that are made out of bones too. And he involved everybody in his game and they didn't know. And I couldn't stop him because once the game has started, if you stop it, So you know what happens after that. So.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Dr. Diamond, what can you tell me about the Du-dobleahn?
Well, this was my first interaction with a Du-dobleahn. I'd heard of them, read a bit about them, but I grew up near the woods, and some people don't know this about me, but because of my silly accent. But I actually grew up until the demise of my parents in Northern California, and I really love the woods. And so when I got a call from Agent Jayne Lee to meet her in the woods, I was rather thrilled. I thought she was inviting me to have a bit of a camp out. As it turned out, she was already having that with other friends, but I was really thrilled to be invited and to go. As it turned out, it was to procure or examine this Du-dobleahn that she presumed was in existence because of this dice with the valoric symbols. And of course called Dr. Diamond for the symbols, because that's what I can do. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I do think it's quite an aptitude I have for symbolic interpretation. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a headache. It comes and goes if I seem a little distracted. Excuse me. Ooh.
Do you need a Tylenol or anything for that?
Oh, no. I don't do well with medications like that. They don't sit in my bloodstream well for various reasons. But thank you. I appreciate it. I think I'll just have a go. There we are. But yes, the Du-dobleahn I find to be quite a fascinating creature, one that pops up rather frequently. For it's not a unique. It's not one of a kind. It's one that there are many of it. It is a species that roams in many realms on the earth, in all of the globe. It exists. Yes.
I'm sorry, you're just a little loopy today. It's so surprising. Usually you're so much more composed and.
Thank you. I'm just a little this headache. I don't know. Maybe it's done something to my all these the pollen in the air is just getting me. Did you have a specific question about the symbols?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes. So, can you just tell me more about these valoric symbols that are seen on the Du-dobleahn's bone dice?
Yes. Now that's a sentence. The Du-dobleahn's dice.
The Du-dobleahn's dice.
The Du-dobleahn's dice. Well, in fact, there were a lot of D's or D-like symbols. In fact, that is one of the part of, I believe, probably if we did a full investigation into the etymology of the title of Du-dobleahn, we would find that the D-like, a sort of here I can draw it on here. One moment. It's it's a bit of a. Well, I'm not. I studied art, but I'm not an artist, so forgive me. But it's a bit of a bit like that. You see, it sort of looks like a D, but it's a bit prolonged. It's almost like it's almost an egg, but it's not.
Oh, interesting. But just with an open side, and then the
yes, and then perhaps when you turn it like this, it's a bit like a basin. Yes, indeed. Yes. And so I find that to be intriguing. This is a symbol that is repeated on the dice in multiple different iterations, of which I will not try and replicate, for that would be obnoxious and absurd. But yes, I believe that is possibly how people started labeling this creature as the Du-dobleahn, because it just seemed like a D-like symbol. But again, I think this empty vessel means something very profound.
Interesting. Okay, thank you, Dr. Diamond.
Of course.
Lee, tell me what happened next in the woods.
So I had called Dr. Diamond because there was symbols, and I know she's really good at it, but then she showed up wearing this sequin dress, and I kind of felt bad because I think she thought it was something different when I said I had some dye to show her in the forest. So I told her about how the Du-dobleahns die were there, but then like I felt bad about her like wistfully kind of looking at the campfire. So I did offer her some fairy baby teeth, which we were kind of chewing on. They really crackle in your mouth, and they have a sort of like euphoric effect when you eat them. I just had some friends who just had some. Look, it's not illegal. It's not illegal. It's fine. But I don't think Dr. Diamond has ever had them before. So there might be some sort of ongoing effect, and I'm sorry if she's not used to it. I just wanted to put that out there. She had a couple of the baby teeth, and then she seemed to calm down a little bit, had a Jaeger shot, and then got right to work looking at the bones. The bad thing, though, is while she was looking at the bones, she did roll the die. So when she rolled the die, it kind of created some sort of link between her and the Du-dobleahn. And I think she started like hearing it in her head a little bit, and it kept trying to lure her over to where it was. And I thought, you know what? Good thing. We can go find it that way. I didn't want to roll it myself because I've been in a tussle before, and I lost all my money. I didn't lose my life, but I did lose all of my money and a gold watch. So a little upset about that still. But Diamond is the one that we had to follow at this point because she had that strong chance link to the Du-dobleahn.
Okay. And from what you have told me before, once the game starts, it cannot be stopped. So I'm imagining at this point, we're going to hear about the game. Diamond, can you tell me about... also, I have a question, Diamond, about the baby teeth, the fairy baby teeth. I do not approve of that habit personally, but I guess I'm a bit of a prude, so...
Fairy baby teeth?
Yes, Agent Lee mentioned that she let you try some fairy baby teeth while you were in the woods. Do you remember that?
Those were...
I'm so sorry that you had to hear this from me. Those were... What did you think those were?
Well, I thought they were mints.
Ah.
What? Fairy baby teeth. I know how lethal those are. I make it a... oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Everything makes so much more sense. Oh, dear. Oh,
well,
dear.
I'm imagining the effects, whatever effects that those fairy baby teeth had on you, were how you were feeling during this Du-dobleahn game because you rolled the die and began the game.
Yes. Well, it all makes so much more sense now. I thought perhaps it was just that I had a strong instinct, or that my symbology training had, and it turns out it was magically incinerated or incarcerated or in. But oh dear, I'm afraid I can't speak. I need to collect my thoughts. I'm so sorry. I'm going to need to take a moment. I'm so sorry. Please.
Sure. That's all right.
Yes,
I will come back to you. Yes, go get some tea. I will actually go over to Bishop. Bishop. Hi.
If you're all alone, when all the pretty birds have flown, honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. Sound familiar?
Yes, vaguely.
It's ABBA. A lot of people don't know this, but the Du-dobleahn inspired singers throughout history. There are many ancient songs about them, many modern songs about them. You know, musicians often get lured into games of chance. They get told things like, "This'll be your big break." Here's another one you may have heard of. A young minstrel goes into the woods and he encounters a cave. And he goes into the cave playing his lute, strumming the lute. And inside the cave sits the Du-dobleahn. The Du-dobleahn wears nothing at all but a smile. Its wings outstretched, it says, sit for a while. Join me at my table, if you will. Roll, and your chance I will fable. So the minstrel picks up the dice, and he says, I will roll with ye. But tell me this, Du-dobleahn, how many chances do you see? 1, 2, 3. And then no more will that minstrel be. And the question you have to ask is, do you feel lucky? I feel bad for Dr. Diamond. I don't know what's spinning in her fates or what this world has planned for her, but she gets mixed up in more things. Rolling those dice? Should have known better. I mean, I was nearby in the woods because I live in the woods most of the time. So I think I would hear her if she crossed over.
Crossed over?
Oh, you know, if she lost her game.
What does happen when someone loses their game?
Where do you think the bone dice come from?
Well, that's chilling. Barcus, you got a tip from Agent J Pistol about something that has to do with the Du-dobleahn. What was that?
You know, it actually made a lot of sense what Pistol said, Agent J Pistol, because like I said, I was in the cell the whole night. I didn't get to go to the woods and experience this. They didn't let me out for this particular case. And I didn't really think I needed to be there because honestly, Du-dobleahns normally aren't that much of a threat to people. They feed off of our luck. So usually when they're hanging out outside of a gambling den, it's almost like a symbiotic relationship with the owners of the place where they basically let the house, you know, they say the house always wins. Yeah, the house always has a Du-dobleahn. That's why. But the only time Du-dobleahn is a legitimate threat to people around it is if itself has bad luck. If it has been cursed by its own cycle of bad luck, it can't feed off the luck of others and it has to find other ways to nourish itself. So learning that Diamond started a game with a Du-dobleahn and has not yet finished it terrifies me. We need to find her and we need to deal with this. If she is currently dealing with the aftermath of a mid-game with the Du-dobleahn, it's gonna keep playing with her until the game is over. And I've been talking to Winnie about this, and if the Du-dobleahn wins that game, we don't have a Dr. Diamond anymore.
Well, okay, that's disturbing. I have a question. Just want to rewind for a second. You said something earlier about the symbiotic relationship between a Du-dobleahn and the proprietors of, say, gambling establishments.
Sure.
You also mentioned something about feeding, and I wanted to get some notes on that. Can you tell me, can you just describe that to me again so I can get down some notes?
Yeah, well, we talked about it as like earlier about it as like it's a, you know, some Fae love luck. They love chance. They love odds, right? And when people lose, they emit an energy, right? Their luck turns bad. Their winnings go away, and they become, there's almost like a power that comes out of it. And the Du-dobleahn help to create that power. The Du-dobleahn themselves generate kind of a probability field that allows for people's luck to change for the worse. Well, if you own a casino, if you own a house of chance, what a better thing to have around your space. Basically, anybody who comes into a space that's a feeding ground for Du-dobleahn is guaranteed not to win in the long run.
Okay, so you would say that the Du-dobleahn generates this probability field that basically makes it possible for that bad luck energy of the gamblers to be consumed? Yeah,
have you ever heard of like animals that like emit a toxin that then debilitates its victims so that it can then feed off of it before it dies. It's kind of like that. Du-dobleahns can generate a little bit of bad luck around it, and then as people start to lose, that bad luck increases, and then they feed off of that increased bad luck. They feed off that loss, off that psychic energy from it. Mm-hmm. And when that is able to sate them for the most part, but when they truly get hungry, that's when they start challenging people to games of chance. That's how they find their bone dice, like Agent Lee found in the woods. So that's how it sounds like Dr. Diamond fell into one of these one's traps. It sounds like if a Du-dobleahn infects another Du-dobleahn with its own bad luck, it needs to find ways to feed. It needs to find new ways to get itself nourishment because it can't feed off just the bad luck of humans anymore.
Interesting. Okay, I want to come back to that. I have more questions about that, Barcus, but Santana, what are your thoughts up to this point about this case? Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry. Okay, I adjusted. I don't want to be a snitch, but this is a mess. I feel like some professional boundaries were crossed. So like on the group chat, I mean, I don't know, we have a group chat, like unrelated to work. You know, Asia Lee was hanging out in the woods. That's not really my thing. I don't hang out in the woods. Like, do you have DEET spray? Like, is there mosquito netting? That's not for me. So I wasn't going to go. But then I heard that Dr. Diamond was going, and, you know, Dr. Diamond is a little bit of, you know, she needs some social, you know, sometimes the social interaction needs to be massaged a little bit. You know, I feel like she could use some more friends, maybe. So, you know, I said, okay, like maybe I'll swing by at the end. You know, like I'll meet you guys when you come out of the woods and say hi. So what I had found out was they were eating fairy baby teeth.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
That's inhumane. I mean, I know they're not human, but it's whatever you want to call it. That's not cool. And I found out that Dr. Diamond rolled the dice with So right away, you know, I go on my phone and I call like all the santeros I know and some witches too. We need to like go through a whole cleansing ceremony because to me, it's not an option for her to finish this game. I'm not an expert on the Du-dobleahn, but I feel like there could be some way around it if we find the right incantations. So, you know, I took a sample of the dominoes that I have found in my neighborhood when the Du-dobleahn was up there because he gets around. And I took it with me because I wanted Dr. Diamond to maybe be able to decode it, you know, so she could tell us the next steps. But she was just acting loopy. It was a mess.
Yeah. Diamond, are you ready to tell me what happened next?
Well, I didn't think it was as relevant before when I didn't know that they were fairy teeth, which is an abhorrent practice. It is one of the most inhumane, infamane thing to do. To take something that belongs to another living being and ingest it in that way. And I know, don't get me started. Don't tell me that I'm being hypocritical. I didn't choose my life. And yes, I've been perhaps what one would say unlucky in life in many ways. And perhaps that's exactly what this was. But this is what I wanted to. I kept the hat. I found it on the ground near the dice. And I think it's having some sort of effect on me. I think that might be more of the effect I'm experiencing than the teeth. It's got some sort of pull to it. And I feel like it's telling me to wear it. Should I Should I put it on?
Well, did you put it on in the woods after you rolled the dice? Or did
No.
you just picked it up?
I just picked it up, hid it in my backpack. No one else knows I have it.
I think you should know that some of the other agents were concerned that you may be mid-game with the Du-dobleahn.
What?
If you didn't finish the game with the Du-dobleahn in the woods, then that means you're still mid-game. Did you finish the game with the Du-dobleahn?
I don't think so. I don't know the rules of the game, but I didn't feel any sort of ultimate moment or finalization.
And it seems like because you were under the influence of the fairy baby teeth, maybe you weren't aware of what was going on at the time.
No. All I know is that I felt compelled to roll the dice, felt compelled to move into the woods, felt compelled to take this hat, put it in my backpack, almost as if a voice was telling me I had to do it.
Lee, did you see Dr. Diamond take the hat and put it in her backpack?
Yeah, I did. She was acting kind of weird after she had the baby fairy teeth, or the fairy baby teeth. And okay. I see you looking at me like you think it's a weird thing to do. It's not that bad, okay? Like, teeth fall out naturally. It's not like we're going to baby fairies and like prying them out of our mouths. If people are doing that, that's not okay. Like, I know that all of my baby fairy teeth are like humanely sourced.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Do you know that they are humanely sourced?
Yeah, they're ethically sourced. That's why they're so expensive. Okay?
All right.
At least the baby fairy teeth that I'm used to is like primo quality.
Okay, I used to know some people who were not above board with their baby fairy teeth consumption, and also the quality is really bad, so then you have some weird, strange reactions to it. So it's also a safety issue, you know?
They try and slice it with other little animals in there, but you have to know like who the dealer is to have really good stuff.
You get those like magical raccoon teeth, baby raccoon teeth in there, and those are just horrid.
Oh yeah, my friend Jen had one, and let me tell you, she was crawling up the wall, like literally, and it was really disturbing to watch. All of her nails fell off, and like she paid so much to get them done.
Oh my God.
I know better. But
the first and last time I had baby fairy teeth, I believe it was magical raccoon teeth, and it was not a good night. I will tell you that.
I'm so sorry.
No, you know, I'm sorry because I'm judging you based on my experience. So you have fun, and I need to just move on from that.
I will invite you next time if you're interested.
I maybe. Yeah.
We like to go underneath the full moon and just like yell at it. I don't invite Dr. Diamond to those because, you know, moon.
Oh, right. Well.
Yeah. But yeah, I did see her start the game, and when she rolled the die, I went, oh, that's not good, because, you know, like, it's only when the Du-dobleahn is trying to blend in with everyone that it starts to wear the clothes. In its natural environment, it's nude. And when it forms that sort of game link together, it starts to transition back to its nude form and, like, divesting its garments. And I think that neural link that happens between the two players, whoever picked it up is starting to gather like the same fashion sense of a Du-dobleahn. So when I saw that hat, I was like, oh, this one's gonna be like a very showy Du-dobleahn with maybe like not great fashion. And natively, they tend to have greenish gray leathery skin. It's pretty wrinkly. Like if you were to pick its skin up and pull it away from its body, you could probably pull it away like, I don't know, like 5-6 inches without any effect. A lot of saggy skin that kind of sticks to its frame otherwise. So it's, I was really hoping that this game would be over before the Du-dobleahn is fully nude, because let me tell you, when you're trying to fight a fully nude Du-dobleahn, it's it's hard to look at it. Like, yeah.
I would imagine.
You're constantly looking away when you're trying to fight it.
I would imagine so. So how far into this game did Diamond get in the woods?
Well, when she rolled the Valoric die, or the die with Valoric symbols on it, there was like this kind of symbol came up, and then also one that looked kind of like this.
Oh, so is that a triangle and then an inverted triangle?
Yeah, like kind of like a diamond-y.
Oh, diamond.
Long stem on one side, and the other one looked kind of like a D, but like a big smile. And as soon as those landed, I could see her face like light up with this crazy grin. And I wasn't sure if it was the euphoric high from the teeth or if it was the game beginning where their personalities were starting to intermingle. But it wasn't a good sign. And I know I've seen that kind of roll before. It usually means that there's going to be an exchange of physical force of some kind.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Du-dobleahns are notoriously weak. They have terrible luck with their die, and they're very, very physically weak.
Okay. Bishop. I bet you don't see this type of thing happen in the woods very often.
I mean, you'd be surprised.
I probably would be. Actually, maybe not. I've worked here for a while.
Why not keep the party polite? Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, baby. I'm the guy you came in with. Luck would be a lady tonight. That sound familiar?
Yeah, that's Sinatra?
Guys and dolls.
I have the era right, I guess.
Yeah, you got that part right. You got the era. Like I said, Du-dobleahns, musicians, luck. Listen, I've been thinking a lot about Diamond. You know, we spent some time together, her chained up in the back of my truck and me just driving around, singing songs. You'd think someone like her, someone who as a child had a bond with a multiplicitor, mauled her parents to death, turned into a werewolf, you'd think someone like that sounds like bad luck, right?
Yeah, it does.
It does. It sounds like bad luck. But actually, it's not. Diamond's lucky. Again and again and again. She escapes death. What is that? Du-dobleahns want to know. And here's the thing. Those rolls she was rolling, those were winning rolls. Diamond's just full of luck. She's like a lucky rabbit's foot. No, speaking of rabbits, she's got that hat. She puts that on. Well, maybe there'll be a new Du-dobleahn in town. Werewolf with wings? I don't know if I want to see that. I guess that's why I have a harpoon.
Bishop, you know that sometimes we get random tips from the monster hunting community at large.
Oh yeah, I love the monster hunting community at large.
Yes. I got a tip about you. So it seems that someone has a feeling that you know more about ABBA than you're letting on. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. You know Eurovision, right?
Yeah, I love Eurovision, actually.
Of course you love Eurovision.
Who doesn't?
Exactly. Who doesn't? Before ABBA, nobody loved Eurovision. After ABBA, everybody loves Eurovision. Why ABBA? A-B, B-A. Mirror. Universe. Yeah.
Are you saying ABBA comes from a mirror universe?
I'm saying that they're Fae as well. They cross through. They gifted us with their beautiful music. They enchanted us. They made us make stupid movies. And they're still doing it. They know what they're doing. Untouchable. I spent, you know about fairy rings. You walk in, you dance, and you dance a long time. Well, I didn't dance for 100 years, but I spent one crazy summer in one of those fairy circles with ABBA. The baby teeth were flowing. You know, funny thing about fairy baby teeth, they're used by fairies too. They fall out and then they change their properties and you pop them back in and woo! What a time, what a time, what a time. But if you're full of multiplicity, you probably should never, ever, ever ingest a fairy baby tooth. Its effects are completely unknown.
That would explain her reaction to it. All right.
Did you get the information you needed?
I did, thank you. And actually, I now want to open a new case file on ABBA, thanks to your information.
Oh, listen, no.
No?
You can't investigate ABBA. I have a deal with them. You know, like they're part of the treaty.
Okay, all right. As long as they remain part of the treaty and don't become a threat.
Yeah.
They're fine.
They're ABBA.
They're ABBA. Barcus.
Hey, by the way, I just want to ask, I know this is weird to ask from my angle, but is there a way that I can get some sort of soundproofing in my cell? Because I'm getting real sick of Bishop's karaoke nights whenever she shows up. Sometimes, I mean, look, if you're going to lock me up, you can at least let me sleep in peace and not have someone singing Fernando at the top of her lungs whenever she feels like it. Anyway.
I will talk to the corrections department about that. I don't know. I that's not my department, so I don't have any say over there.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We want to keep you happy. I mean,
yeah, I've been thinking, we've been talking all this time about these perception filters and the way that they work. And I think the thing that like I really want to hammer in on is like, if you know to look for a Du-dobleahn, like you'll see it. That's why they have to try so hard to not get noticed, because once you know it's there, right? You can always tell, because once you see its face, you realize that what looks like a bristly beard is actually like a collection of almost like a thicket, almost like not a thicket. What's the term looking for? Bristles. What are the things around Cinderella's castle? The spiny things, the prickly things. Like I didn't read a lot of fairy tales as a kid. I was too busy killing actual monsters. I don't remember what it's called, but it's there, the bush of things. But you know, so once they know that they've been spotted, they get scared, right? Because they're super weak. They're easy to fight. So briar bush, that's what it's called.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
briar patch. I don't know. The thing is, it looks like if you see one on the street, if you're not looking right at it, you're like, oh, that's a creepy guy in a trench coat with a beard, right? Then you see it and you're like, that's Du-dobleahn. That thing, that is a messed up Du-dobleahn, right? So it's got that grin. But I've been thinking a lot about Dr. Diamond, because like a lot of messed up shit's happened to her. Sometimes it's been my fault. I've used her as bait before, which was kind of a shit move on my part, I know, but whatever, we move past it. But she has to finish this game. She can't just kill it, because then her luck will just be attached to whatever it was doing to her to begin with. She can be constantly on the edge of becoming one. But I know this is going to sound weird, but if there's any way that you could get her to ingest some baby fairy teeth, I think you could actually get her luck to increase to a point where she could win. Because there's one thing Du-dobleahns are weak to, especially this one, if it's been losing, is other fae magic. So if you could put its fae bad luck against a source of fae good luck, she'll be able to beat it. She just has to finish the game. But
what if she already ingested the fairy baby teeth? You mean
I can't imagine Dr. Diamond would do that. She's such a priss about vegetarianism and things like that. So
You're probably right.
Plus, it's so hard to actually get them ethically sourced. People say it's ethically sourced. It's
Right?
bullshit. No one ever... There's no ethical way to source teeth from a fairy, all right? Do you know how hard it is to even get a fae to come from the Feywilds to begin with? And then it's just gonna be like, oh yeah, here's my teeth. Fae take our teeth. They don't bring their teeth over here. So anybody who's bringing fae teeth in is doing it in a really scummy way.
I think, now that you mention it, I think it's some type of weird human dominance control thing. Because they take our teeth. So some humans are like, well, we want to take their teeth. It's like, it's more about like control over fairies.
I believe that, and that's a foolish way to do it. You cannot control the fae. It is a terrible idea to try to control the fae, and you will always lose in the long term. But if you've been ingested with some fae teeth, you can probably win a game of chance.
Okay. Diamond?
I'm going to put it on.
I think you should.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I believe you've been talking about me.
I imagine you're the Du-dobleahn.
Yes, that's what you like to call me, but I prefer Du-dobleahn.
Oh, am I mispronouncing it?
Yes, everybody makes it sound so nice. It's Du-dobleahn.
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 For a human, that's pretty good.
Thank you. I've studied many demonic and fae languages.
Very nice. You seem like a very lucky person.
Oh, we're not here to talk about my luck, Du-dobleahn.
All right. Well, what are we here to talk about? What is your name?
My name is Kendall.
Kendall, not Kendall.
That's how you would pronounce it, yes.
Yes, it is.
So, I need to know what will happen when my agent finishes her game with you.
Oh, your agent. Is that this receptacle in which I am speaking to you with?
Yes, and she will not be pleased that you took over her receptacle.
Oh, that's interesting. You would think she would not be pleased. I sensed in her in the woods that she and I have more in common than you and her, perhaps.
Well, that may be the case. What are your intentions with my agent? Du-dobleahn.
I wish to get my luck back.
Oh. Was it the baby fairy teeth she ingested? Kind of threw you off of your game?
Yes, it did. I did not anticipate that.
Well, now you know how our agents roll.
Oh. Very clever. Are you sure you don't want to discuss an exchange of luck?
No. I know better than that. Du-dobleahn.
Okay.
So what do you need from my agent to release her? From your game?
I would like to take her for a bit of a world tour. I feel there's a connection with her that could help me succeed in my endeavors.
If she consents to that, then I have no objection.
Very good. Very good. She's very intelligent. and again has a connection to the world in a way that I have not quite felt from other beings with which I have tried to manifest. So yes, if you'll let me have her for a period of time, I think we'll be able to solve some problems. And you know, Du-dobleahns don't have necessarily a bad rap. We actually do some good.
Yes, I have heard there are some instances where having bad luck is a good thing. Some elections, for instance, we don't want one person to win.
Oh, that was a good one. That took a whole plethora of Du-dobleahns. You know, sometimes we get together and really manifest in one place or the other, and it's hilarious. See all the humans scrambling. It's fantastic, fantastic, really just fantastic. Oh, she's coming back. She's trying to... oh dear. Yes, well, would you just, one more moment. Whoa, she's a fighter. Now you just, whoa, oh, now you stars. Oh, no, I don't want to take it off. I don't want to take it. You stars. Oh, that was awful. Oh my, oh God,
Are you okay?
oh dear God, that was, I'm all right, but I think I have to now go on a world tour with a Du-dobleahn?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Well, if it's the better of the storm, if that's a mission, if that can allow me to prove myself, I'll do it.
Oh, you've more than proven yourself, Dr. Diamond. I am ready to complete my profile summary report of the Du-dobleahn. This is case number 738. The Du-dobleahn is the correct pronunciation in its native dialect. The name or alias is the Du-dobleahn. It is a species of many. I didn't get its specific name, and now I regret that, but I believe we will be having some type of interaction in the future. The victimology, it normally targets gamblers, and it generates a probability field that makes that kind of can generate and make the bad luck energy consumable and usable. It seems to frequent all types of locations. So we have reports of it being on Santana's stoop. So in a city, it's also, we know this encounter happened in the woods, and I'm sure many other types of places in between. It is a fae, so the phenotype is other. Physicality is absolutely corporeal. It is very sentient and very sophisticated, I would say, in terms of its intelligence. Probably a 9 or 10, to be honest. I would say it's a bit impulsive on the impulsive versus organized scale. Maybe a 5 or 4, because once it is in this interaction, this game, it has to have some type of strategy. But I also do think it's chaotic, which to me means impulsive in this case. Behavioral analysis, it definitely lurks outside of gambling establishments. I'm not sure if it stalks. We could maybe say it does stalk. Doesn't fly, doesn't float, doesn't slink. Doesn't summon, isn't summoned by others. I will do some research on the history, lots of lore that I will write out a full report on. But I do want to mention specifically it uses dice and dominoes made out of elephant bones. They have valoric symbols on them, and many of the symbols are either D-shaped, a curved D, like an egg or a basin, or a pointed diamond shape. And the status is currently that it is allied with Dorm. It is traveling the world right as we speak. with Agent Elizabeth Diamond, and we will get a full report from her when she returns from her travels. I want to thank some of the agents who gave us tips for this mission. We have Agent J. Pistol. Thank you so much for your tip. That was very helpful in cracking this case. Agent Arsenal Roy 2K also gave us a very important tip that actually now is leading to another case file on ABBA, which we found out is from a Fae mirror universe. Very essential, important information. Thank you, Arsenal 2K, Roy 2K. We also have Agent Riley Jest, and lots of tips from Jay Pistol and Arsenal Roy 2K. Thank you so much to all of our agents who contribute to our cases every week. We will be back with another case next Friday. And this is Profiler Milagros Kendall, agent number 2543, signing off.
Though I never thought that we could lose, there's no regret. If I had to do the same again, I would, my friend. Fernando. If I had to do the same again, I would, my friend. Fernando. Good luck, Agent Diamond. And may ABBA watch over you on your travels.